Okay, good evening everyone. I hope I'm audible and visible to you. So good evening all. There will be some background noise from my side for some time, but I hope I'm audible. Let me know अगर मेरा आवाज नहीं आ रहा है. If I'm not properly audible, then let me know. Okay. Today we'll start with compound interest. We'll see some interesting, good, different questions on compound interest. We'll see some calculator shortcuts also, which are very important for compound interest. Then we'll move on to concept of present value, future value, and finally to annuity. Okay, so good evening, good evening. Fine. Let's just wait for one more minute, then we'll start. Okay. Yeah, so we can start now. So for compound interest, yesterday we saw simple interest and some useful tricks, shortcuts for that, some good questions on that. Today let's focus on compound interest. Now for compound interest, what is important is you are able to calculate it fast on your calculator, because if you are if you understand the formula properly, then there are multiple shortcuts or multiple ways in which you can solve compound interest questions, which can give you answers fast, and you don't have to every time go to the formula and calculate everything. So let's see how. First of all, how do we calculate amount in case of simple interest? So what are we doing is, in simple interest we are taking principal, then we are adding interest to it for 1 year. Let's say for example, okay, how do we calculate 1 year's interest? We take principal into number of years into interest rate, right? So we take p and I. If n is 1 year, then it is just pi. Okay, so after 1 year this amount will become p into bracket 1 plus I. Okay, in next year what we'll do is we'll again add interest. Add interest means what? If we are adding 12% interest, that means we are just multiplying by 112%, right? So for example, if there is 100 and we want to add 12% to it, okay, so we'll just add 12% of 100 and it will become 112. So can I just also calculate it like this, 100 into 112%? Okay, check, that should give you the same answer, right? So that means we are just adding 100% plus our interest rate, or I'll just write 1 plus I, because 100% means what? 1, right? 100% is what? 100 by 100. So we'll just multiply with 1 plus I once again. For third year, we'll multiply with 1 plus I once again. So in short, for compound interest, while calculating amount at the end, we are just doing principal into 1 plus I raised to 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and so on up to n year or n periods, I'll say. Okay. Yeah, Divyansh is saying, can you please help me in one question after this class? Definitely. Okay. If we get time, we can solve it in class itself, or you can reach out to me on Telegram also. I'll answer it there. Okay. Fine. So for compound interest, for calculating amount, okay. So namaste, good evening. We can just do p into 1 plus I raised to n, that is principal, into 1 plus I raised to n. Now here one thing is very important to understand. Like simple interest, we will not always have n as number of years. So it is very important to understand that here I will be interest rate per compounding period, and n will be number of compounding periods. Okay, very important to understand this. How will we decide compounding periods? So for example, if we are doing compounding annually, that means if we are doing this every year, 1 plus I, 1 plus I, 1 plus I, that is adding interest every year, then our compounding period will be 1 year. So n will be number of years in that case, and interest will be per compounding period means per year, so interest will also be per annum in that case. Okay, but if we are doing this process every quarter, then n has to be number of quarters and I has to be interest rate per quarter. So understand, in compound interest we have to adjust I and n according to how often we are compounding, which is also called as compounding frequency. So compounding frequency means how often compounding is done. Okay. So let's take a few simple examples, then we'll go to question bank, additional question bank. Okay. Let's take a few simple examples first. So for example, if I say our principal, that is number of amount that we are investing initially is, let's say, 10,000. Okay. N is, let's say, 3 years. I is, let's say, 12%. This is always per annum. Okay, even if they don't write per annum, it is always per annum. Understand that, because interest rate is always expressed on per annum basis. Hmm. And compounding is done annually. Then how will we calculate amount? We know that amount is principal into 1 plus I raised to n. Okay, so those who know, you can let me know in chat. Those who are getting confused, concentrate. Okay, so principal is 10,000. Okay. 1 plus I raised to n. N has to be number of periods, number of compounding periods. Now understand, we are doing compounding annually. If compounding is done annually, that is yearly, that means n has to be number of years, which is 3 years. So we'll take n as 3. And I also has to be per year, because we are doing compounding annually. So we'll take per annum, which is 12%. So 12% means what? 0.12. So I'll just write 1 plus I means 1.12 raised to n, which is 3. I hope everyone knows how to calculate this on calculator fast. Okay. For those who don't know, how do we do it? We take 1.12. Okay, I'll just write it here separately. We take 1.12. Now we have to do 1.12 raised to 3, right? So we'll just press into and equal to 2 times. That's it. So into equal to. So I hope everyone knows this. Those who don't know, understand. Whenever we want to do x raised to y, where y is an integer or a whole number, what we do is x then into equal to kitne bar? Y minus 1 times. So here we have to raise by 3, so we'll press equal to 2 times. Fine. Don't write it on calculator, just multiply it by 10,000 directly. So that is correct. What Palak has put in the chat, 14049.28. Okay, that is the amount that we'll get at the end. So this was easy, obviously. Okay. Let's make it a bit complicated, and in fact, let me convert this to a larger problem. Okay, we know our principal is 10,000. Let's keep our interest rate as 12% per annum. Let's keep our n as 3 years. Now, when compounding is done annually, what was n? Number of years, so it was 3. What was I? Interest rate per year, so it was 12% or 0.12. So we calculated our amount as 14049.28, or I'll just write calculation here, 10,000 into 1.12 raised to 3. Okay, now let's make it complicated. Let's say compounding is now half yearly or semi annually. That means what? Every half year we'll add interest to the principal. Okay, now understand, if we are adding interest every half year, then n has to be number of periods, that is number of half years. Now tell me, in 3 years how many half years are there? कितने half years होते हैं 3 साल में? In 1 year there are 2 half years. So in 3 years, can I say there will be 2 into 3, 6 half years? Is that correct? So n will be 6. Now I is also 12% per annum, right? So we'll not take per annum now. We'll take interest rate only for half year. So we'll do 12 divided, or 12% divided by 2, which is 6%. Okay, 6% means what? 0.06. Okay, always convert percent to this decimal value by dividing it by 100. Okay, so 12% by 2, 0.06. So can I say we'll do something like this, 10,000 into 1.06 raised to 6. Okay, check if you have got it, check if you have understood it. If anyone has not understood, let me know, and if yes, then let's calculate the value. Sorry. Okay, how do we calculate this now again? Let me show you one more time. 1.06 raised to 6. How will we do that on calculator? We'll take 1.06, we'll press into button on your calculator, and then equal to 5 times, because we have to do raised to 6, right? So 1.06 into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 multiplied by 10,000. So that is correct, 14185. Okay, now I'll round off everything. So 14185 is the correct answer. Correct. I'm getting your chat messages a bit late, but Palak, that is correct. Divyansh, that is correct. N ka value. Hmm. Those who are getting the answers, put them on chat so that I'll also be able to see whether you're understanding, whether I've got it. If you have any doubt, let me know. Let's make it more complicated. Let's make it quarterly. Okay. Quarterly means what? Okay, in 1 year there are 4 quarters. Quarter means 1 by 4. Okay, 4 parts. That means 3 months. Okay, not 4 months. So quarterly. Okay. Now n has to be number of quarters, because compounding period is quarterly, right? So n has to be number of quarters. In 1 year there are 4 quarters. So in 3 years, can I say there will be 3 into 4, 12 quarters, right? And now we'll calculate quarterly interest rate also. In 1 year there are 4 quarters, so 12% is for 1 year, right? So we'll just divide it by 4 to get quarterly interest rate. Check if you're getting 3% or 0.03. Okay, if yes, if you've got it, then let me know the answer. 10,000 into 1.03 raised to 12. Again we'll do the same thing. 1.03 into, and 11 times equal to, just multiply it by 1000, 10,000. Check if you are getting something like this: 14258, 257 or 258. Perfect. That is correct. Now let's make it even more complicated, because I want to tell you one concept which is not there in our module. Okay, but you're probably expected to know it. I don't know. Sometimes ICI does this, that uh, there are some random concepts which are not there in module, but they still ask it in exam. Okay, so ideally you should know this, because anyway chapter of limits has also been introduced in the syllabus now, right? So this is even more relevant, and when you go to inter and final, you are going to see this everywhere in financial management. Okay, let's come there. Let's make this monthly first. Okay, can you tell me now n will be what number of months? 3 years may how many months are there? 3 into 12, that is 36 months. I will also be, now 12 is per annum, right? So 12% is for 1 year. So for 1 month, can I say it will be divided by 12? So 0.01, check. And if yes, let me know this value. So we'll just have to do 1.01 into, and equal to 35 times. Okay, let's say. Check if you're getting 14307 or 308. Check if you're getting that. Okay, fine. Perfect. 14307.68, you can round it off. Now this is interesting. Now we'll make it complicated, and like I said, we'll see a new concept which is not there in module. So understand. Instead of monthly, what if we do it daily? Or let's say first, let me take weekly. Okay. We can assume that there are 52 weeks in a year. For simplicity, let's assume there are 52 weeks in 1 year. So in 3 years, there will be how many weeks? 3 into 52. That is 156. Okay, don't do this on calculator. And interest rate will also be now 12% divided by 52, right? Because there are 52 weeks in a year. So it will be 12 by 52 divided by 100. It should be 0.002307 something. Okay. Now don't calculate it on calculator because that makes no sense. It will be 10,000 into 1.002307 raised to 156. I'll just do it on my phone calculator. You can also do it on your phone calculator because Papa, it will be easy to calculate. Hmm. While taking days, we can take 360 days. Yes. For weeks, we can take 52. So 1 point. Okay, let me just take exact value. 12 by 52 by 100. This one. Okay. So what we are doing is 1.002307 multiplied by raised to kitna 156 and then multiplied by 10,000. Check on your phone calculator if you are getting 14,327. Okay, do it on your phone calculator. Don't use our calculator because how many times will you keep pressing equal to equal to equal to, right? Not important, not required. But this will lead to a more important concept. And let's do one more thing, which is daily, and then let's write some observation. Okay, let's see if we can calculate daily also. Again, on phone calculator only. Okay. Generally, in a year, 360 days are assumed for simplicity. Okay, so let's take 360 days into 3 years. So n will be 1080. I will be 12% divided by 360. Okay, that will be very small. So I'm just writing it like this. Just do it on your calculator directly, phone calculator. No need to do anything else. It will be 0.12 divided by 360 plus 1 raised to 1080 multiplied by 10,000. Okay. You should get something like 14332. These two are, like I said, not expected to be calculated on your calculator because I mean that is unreasonable, right? But समझ लो कि ये हम क्यों कर रहे हैं? Why are we doing this? Can we make an observation from this? Now concentrate carefully. I hope everyone has got everything till this point. If not, let me know on in comments in chat. But if you have got it, let's make an interesting observation. When we are going from annually to half yearly, amount increased by how much? 14,185 minus 14,049.28. Amount increased by 135.72 rupees. Okay, or 136 rupees. I'll just write. When we were going from half yearly to quarterly, matlab annually to half yearly means what? We are just doubling the n, right? 3 का 6 हो गया और वो annual एक साल का आधा मतलब half year, so it is just half of 1 year. ठीक है, half year का half is quarter, so let's see how much it is increasing here. 258 minus 185, that is only by 73. Okay, now quarterly to monthly, that means we came 1/3, right? Because in a quarter there are 3 months, but it increased only by how much? 308 minus 258, which is only 50 rupees. Then in monthly to weekly, we did nearly 1/4, but it increased only by 27 minus 8, which is 19 rupees. And from weekly to daily, it increased only by how much? 32 minus 27, which is nothing, right? 5 rupees. So if you can imagine, understand very carefully, if I draw a graph of amount, okay, understand this carefully. As we increase the compounding frequency from yearly, so we do it faster, half yearly to quarterly to monthly to daily and so on. Amount is increasing, but it is increasing at a slower rate. Okay, a graph will be like this. It is increasing, but it is increasing at a slower rate. 136, then only 73, then only 50, then 19, then 5. Probably after some point, it will just stop increasing and it will become a flat line. When will this happen? When we are compounding very frequently. That means more than daily. Maybe we are compounding hourly or every minute, every second, or we can just call it continuous compounding. Okay. Continuous compounding. So the amount that we get if we keep on compounding continuously is called as continuous compounding, and we can get it using this formula. Understand? Amount that we can get from continuous compounding is E. What is E? E is from the chapter of distributions that you have seen, or chapter of limits that you have seen. It is an irrational number. Its value is approximately 2.71828. That is what you can take for exam point of view. Raised to I into n in number of years. That's it. Okay. What is I? I is 12% or 0.12. Into what is n? N is number of years, which is 3. Okay, so it will be 2.71828 raised to 3 into 0.12 is how much? 0.36. Can you try to calculate this? You can do it on your phone calculator, or if anyone knows the 12 times square root trick, then you can use it. How do we use that trick? Does anyone know? First, let me calculate on phone, because I just want to show you how much it comes to. 2.71828 raised to 0.36. Check if you're getting 1.4333, and we'll just multiply this by principal, so 10,000. So if we keep on compounding continuously, we get 14,333 rupees, which if you observe, daily side is only just 1 rupee more, 14,333, if we keep on compounding continuously. This concept will be useful to you when you go to inter and final in financial management. It is not given in module, but I feel that it is a part of compound interest and you should know it. ICI is known for this, that sometimes they ask some different concept which is not there in the module at all. Okay, sometimes that happens. Rarely, but yes. So 14,333 will be the amount that you can get if you compound continuously. So it cannot go beyond that, it cannot increase more than that. Any doubt till this point? If not, let's go to question bank. What 12 times square root ka method, I have already uploaded video of that, so let's not focus on that right now. That is not the important thing right now. Right now it is important to focus on this compound interest part. तो उस पे focus करते हैं. Let me know if any doubt. Otherwise, let's go to this question bank. And similar to yesterday, I have designed a few questions, few difficult questions. Okay. Again, just a simple interest may we saw we can get, see, we can get only a limited type of question. Simple interest may you can get P is missing, N is missing, I is missing, O is missing, A is missing. Okay. And similarly we can get something like doubling, tripling. We can maybe get something like equations or two investments together and so on, right? Similarly in compound interest also we can get only a certain set of questions, just like P is missing, N is missing, I is missing, A is missing, or it is reverse compound interest, which is something called as depreciation, because depreciation is just negative interest, right? From mathematical point of view. So mathematical point of view, depreciation calculation is going to be just like compound interest, but negative. So depreciation, then doubling, tripling, and certain equations, multiple investments, a ratio of investments, and so on. So first let's focus on this missing figure questions. First two are easy because you have to calculate amount at the end. Okay, I'll wait for a minute or so that आपको एक start मिलेगा. I'll wait for 1 minute or so. Can you try to calculate for first two amount at the end? Let me know in chat. 1 minute के लिए I'll wait and then I'll start so that you can get time to solve it. Okay, 17,490. We'll check. Those who have got the answers, put them in the chat. We'll check. Fine. First time solving, first one. Tell them. Okay, 17,490. Both are getting. Fine. Anyone else? Let me know if you have got any answers. Okay. So first, principal is 10,000. Period is 4 years. Compound interest rate is 15%. Compounding is annual. So we have to take in number of years. So it will be P into number of years. So we have to take annual interest rate, which is already given 15%, so 1.15. Rest to n will be number of years, which is 4. So easy to do on calculator. 1.15 into and 3 times equal to multiplied by 10,000. That gives us 17,490. That is correct. Correct, perfect. 17,490 is correct for first one. Second one, let's see. 15,000 2 years. 8% compound interest rate, quarterly compounding. Now we'll do 15,000 into. Now 8% is annual. In 1 year there are 4 quarters. So we'll do 8 divided by 2. So sorry, 8 divided by 4. 4 quarters are there. So 2% will be the interest rate. If 2% is the interest rate, that means we'll take 1.02. N will be number of quarters. एक साल में there are 4 quarters, so 2 साल में there will be 8 quarters. Let's take 1.02 into and then 7 times equal to multiplied by 15,000. So 17,574 or 75 round off करके. That is correct. There was some typing mistake, I guess, Divyansh, but that is the correct answer. Now let's solve third. Third, my principal itself is missing. Let's start. That is correct, Sanjay. Fine. I took wrong interest rate. Okay, fine. I hope you have got it now. Let's solve third one. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay. So in third one, principal is missing. Now principal into 1 plus I raised to n. Compounding is yearly. So we'll take just yearly interest, that is 10% means 0.1, so 1.1 raised to 6 years. That gives us 25,000. Right. So we just have to calculate this and divide 25,000 by that amount. Don't write it. Okay, in exam I've seen many students do this in such kind of equations. क्या करते हैं? P into, you'll write this figure is equal to 25,000 and then you'll do it on calculator, or you'll write it somewhere, then you'll do it on calculator. Don't write it. No need to write it anywhere. Just calculate it first on your calculator. 1.1 into and then 5 times equal to. Then add it to memory, m plus. Then just take 25,000 divided by whatever you have stored in memory, that is MRC. Okay. What are we doing? We are storing this in memory, m plus. Then 25,000 divided by MRC. If you press equal to, you should get your answer as 14, whatever that is correct, 14,111 or 14,112 round after. Okay. I hope everyone has understood this MRC thing. If not, let me know in comments. So that's how you should calculate. This is not just for TVM or mathematics or finance, it is for every chapter. You should follow the same concept whenever an equation like this comes. Next, fourth. In fourth, interest rate is missing. Now generally questions where interest rate is missing are a little bit difficult because you have to go to probably that 12 times root wala method. Maybe. Okay, we'll see. So what is given? Principal is 12,500 into 1 plus I is not given, so 1 plus I raised to n. Now compounding is half yearly. In 4 years there are how many half years? 8, right? So we'll do raised to 8 is equal to 20,000. Fine. So that means 1 plus I raised to 8 will be 20,000 divided by 12,500, which is 1.6. Now if you have options, then you can just go by options and solve this. That is the easiest way. But if options are not given properly, or if options are confusing, that means in options something else is given, suppose. Then what should you do? Okay. Can anyone tell me how should we solve this? So there is one thing that we can do is we can raise both sides by 1 by 8. Okay. We can raise both sides by 1 by 8. What will happen? We know that a raised to m bracket raised to n is equal to a raised to m into n. So we'll just do 8 into 1 by 8, so that will be cancelled. And we'll just get 1 plus I is equal to 1.6 raised to 1 by 8. Let's see if anyone can tell me how to calculate this. Okay. Is 12 times root required here? You can go by 12 times root method. Not an issue. 1.6, 12 times square root, minus 1 into 1 by 8 plus 1, then into equal to 12 times. But understand in exam that method is actually not required. Okay. I mean, I have not seen any case where you have to use that 12 times root wala method in exam, unless it is a question of indices and you can get fast answer with that. Okay. So understand, wherever it is 1 by 4, 1 by 8, 1 by 16, you can just do something like this. 1 by 1.6 raised to, can I write that 1 by 8 as 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 into 1 by 2? Okay. Why? Because 2 into 2 into 2 is 8. So 1 by 2 means what? Square root. So can I just write 1.6 ka square root, square root ka square root? So that's it, right? Take 1.6, take 3 times square root. Check if you're getting 1.0605. Not 2 times, right? It will be 3 times because it is 1 by 8. So 1 plus I is equal to 1.0605. That means I is equal to 0.0605 or 6.05%. But this I is half yearly because we are doing half yearly compounding. So I'll just multiply it by 2. So into 2 will be 12.10% or 12.10%. That should be our answer. Okay. Hope everyone has understood it. Just multiply this by 2 to get our actual answer. I hope everyone has understood. If not, let me know right now. Fine. Next is n is missing. N is missing is also you have to do in some different way. Let's see. So 18 to 100 principal into 1 plus I. Now this is monthly compounding. 12% is per annum. So for 1 month it will be 12% by 12. That is 1%. So we'll do 1.01. Raised to n, we don't know what is n, is equal to 20104.12. Fine. So that means 1.01 raised to 12 is going to be what? 20104.12 divided by 18,200, which is 1.121105 something. Now, sorry, that is not 12, that is n. Okay. Now, you can understand this root thing. Okay, I'll explain it again. No issues. Okay, after this question. So, 1.01 raised to n is this. Okay, now we cannot find n by using indices. We either have to go to logarithm, which will make it complicated unnecessarily. Log वगैरह ऐसा कुछ नहीं करना है. Just do it on your calculator. 1.01 into, and then keep on pressing equal to equal to equal to equal to till you get this. Okay, just count karo. Count how many times you are pressing it. Okay, so I'm just pressing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. When I press it 11 times, I get approximately this amount. 1.126825. Okay, that is approximate. We are not getting any exact amount. That means n must be 12, right? If we are pressing equal to equal to equal to 11 times, that means it must be 1.01 raised to 12, right? Why? Because when we want to do 1.01 raised to 12, we just do into and then equal to equal to equal to equal to how many times? 11 times, right? Fine. So that means n is 12. 12 is what? 12 months. So 12 months or 1 year will be the correct answer for question number 5, situation number 5. Okay. For the root thing, let me just explain. I hope everyone understood this. Okay, if you ever have something, let's say anything, 5 raised to, let's say 1 by 2, what does it mean? Square root of 5, right? You can just calculate that on a calculator. If you get 5 raised to 1 by 4, can I write it as 5 raised to half into half? Or can I write it as 5 raised to half bracket raised to half? Because a raised to m into n is equal to a raised to m bracket raised to m. So can I just write as root 5 ka root, right? So root of root 5. Similarly, if you have 1 by 8, I can write it as 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 into 1 by 2. So it will just be root of root of root of 5. If you have 1 by 16, it will just be 4 times root of 5. That's it. So you can only use this for these cases. Otherwise, you cannot use it. Otherwise, you have to go to 12 times root wala method. Right. 12 months is correct. That's right. Now, sixth is interesting. They are saying principal is x and amount is 2x. That means principal is getting doubled. We saw yesterday in simple interest, what do? We just do 100 divided by I or 100 divided by n. Okay. In compound interest, there is a trick which does not give exact answer but gives only approximate answer. Okay. It's called as a magic number. 72 is called as a magic number for compound interest because it gives you approximate answer when doubling is there. Okay. अब triple होने के लिए या 4 times होने के लिए भी there are numbers, but you don't need to remember those. So for compound interest, for doubling, if you want to find n approximate value, not exact value, then you can do 72 divided by I, or if you want to find I, you can just do 72 divided by n. This only works if n is sufficiently higher, matlab number of years या interest rate, if it is higher, if it is high, more than let's say 5-6 years, then it works properly. Otherwise it does not work that properly. Okay, let's still try करके देखते हैं. So here amount is getting doubled in how many years? 8 years. Okay, if n is given, how will we find I? I will be 72 by 8. 72 by 8 is what? 9. So I will be 9%. That's it. Okay. This is a very specific case. It will only be used in these cases. But if such question comes in exam that amount is principal is getting doubled, compounding is yearly, and options are given, you can just do 72 divided by that interest rate or number of years to get the balancing figure. That will be your approximate answer. Okay. We can actually check if this works. Okay, so let's say principal is 100. Check 100 into 1.09 raised to 8. Check if that is happening. 1.09 into and then 7 times equal to into 100. We are getting 199.25, which is nearly doubled, right? So approximately we get correct answer for this. Okay. Okay. Does this work in half yearly or quarterly also? It will work, but then you'll have to consider n also as number of half years and I also as interest per half year. It will work. Okay, it does not matter. If it is half yearly, that will also work. Just n and I को half yearly में convert करो. Compound interest में there are different numbers for tripling and 4 times and so on. Will not remember that. That is not required for exam, right? I mean, if that situation comes, you can solve it by equation, not an issue. Because understand, the same question, 6th question, we could have also solved as 4th question, right? This is just a shortcut which you can use. 7th is something new that is not in module, which we just saw, continuous compounding. Do you remember? Principal is this is interest rate, sorry, this is interest rate, this is n, and compounding is continuous. How do we get amount? We do e raised to I into n multiplied by principal. So it will be 15,000 multiplied by e. Approximate value of e is 2.71828 raised to I into n, that is 0.1 into 5 or 0.5. Again 0.5 means just square root, right? So you can just do 15,000 into square root of 2.71828. That's it. Check. Should get 24,751. Check if you are getting it. Got it everyone? 24,731. If yes, let's solve a couple of more questions. I don't think we'll be able to cover annuity in this, but let's try to finish at least some good shortcuts for compound interest. For annuity, let's keep tomorrow's lecture. So tomorrow's lecture will be our last. Maybe we can extend it a bit. Tomorrow we'll take for 1 full hour. We'll see, we'll plan. Okay, fine, let's go to next few questions. There are 3-4 more questions which are good. Okay, you want to see continuous ka this formula. Okay, formula is this: amount is equal to principal into e raised to interest rate into number of years, I n. That's it. Okay, like yesterday I mentioned, always note everything in your formula notebook. Make a formula notebook mandatorily. So for compound interest, amount is equal to p into 1 plus I raised to n, where I is interest rate per compounding period. N is equal to number of periods, and compounding frequency means how often compounding is done. Then for compound interest, continuous compounding formula is amount is equal to principal into e raised to I into n. Then in compound interest, doubling can be calculated as approximate. N will be 72 upon I and I will be 72 upon, that's it. Okay. Let's see some more interesting questions and some shortcuts. Let's finish this off. 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay, let's finish 4 questions, then we'll stop for today. Tomorrow we'll finish the chapter with annuity. So this turned out to be only compound interest. Okay. 7th is easy now, you can just calculate it in 1 minute, fast. Not 1 minute, 5 seconds. If an amount doubles in 5 years at a certain annual compounding rate, find the rate. Okay. So how we'll find it? 72 divided by 5, which is 14.4. Like I said, it gives approximate answer. So what is the closest answer to 14.4? 14.87. So that is the correct answer. You can verify it. Cross verify karke, you should always check 100 into 1.1487. That means, when you are practicing, you should always cross verify, right? In exam, it is okay. Check if you are getting 200, right? 200.001. So that is correct. Next. 8th. If a fixed deposit of, now this is a question where different interest rate is there for different years. If a fixed deposit of 10,000 pays 6% interest for first 2 years, 6% is per annum. Like I said, it is always per annum. And then 5 and 8% interest for next 2 years. Then find the amount received assuming annual compounding. What we can do is, for first 2 years, they are paying 6% interest. So we can find amount after 2 years. Then we can add 5% interest. Then we can add 8% interest. But whenever questions like this come, you don't need to go into formula of compound interest. Just apply logic. See, initial amount is 10,000. Okay. In first year, it is going to increase by 6%. So you'll just do plus 6%. In second year, again by 6%. So again plus 6%. In third year, it will increase by 5%. So plus 5%. In next year, it will increase by 8%. So plus 8%. That's it. Check if you're getting 12,741. C is the correct answer. So on calculator, what we'll do is 10,000 plus 6% plus 6%. Okay, this is for calculator. Okay, mathematically don't look at it. Then plus 5% and plus 8%. That's it. You'll get answer as C. That is 12,741. Okay. So in such questions, always go like this. Next is 9th. 9th is a good one. Find WDV of a machine after 4 years. Just again. Just give me 1 second. Okay, last 2 questions for today. Find WDV of a machine after 4 years. If useful life is 8 years, cost is 15 lakhs, salvage value is 1,50,000. Think of depreciation as negative compound interest. Okay. Initially, what is the cost? 15 lakhs. Let's call that as principal. Principal into 1 plus I raised to n. N is 8 years because useful life is 8 years. Will give us amount at the end, which is 1,50,000. Okay. Do it same way, exactly the same way. The only difference is that your I will come negative. That will be your interest rate or depreciation rate, right? So P into 1 plus I raised to n is equal to A. So same thing that we are doing. So 1 plus I raised to 8 will be how much? 0.1. Okay, fine. So can I write it just like previous question? 1 plus I is equal to 0.1 raised to 1 by 8. And we saw in the previous question, right? How do we do 1 by 8? We'll just do 3 times square root, because 1 by 8 is 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 into 1 by 2. So just take 0.1, take 3 times square root, and check if you are getting 1 plus I as 0.7498. So I will be what? Check if you are getting 25.01% positive में लेके, right? Just take it as positive. Check if you are getting 25.01% as interest rate, or let's call it depreciation rate. Now it is easy. Now don't go by any formula. They want WDV after 4 years, right? So on your calculator just subtract 15, take 15 lakhs minus 25.01% first year, minus 25.01% second year, minus 25.01% third year, minus 25.01% fourth year. Check if you are getting B as your answer. Approximately I am getting 474356. So rounding out difference is fine. Just do it on your calculator only. Check if you have got it, everyone. If not, let me know in comments. Last question karte for today. So that will be done with basics of simple compound interest and uske sub shortcuts which are required. Tomorrow we'll entirely focus on annuity and shortcuts of annuity. We'll see relationship between present value of annuity regular, present value of annuity due, future value of annuity regular, future value of annuity due, all four. How to calculate one from other. We'll also see what is to be applied in what case, loan, investment and so on. We'll go there. Last question. A person invested following amount at the respective year ends. Today he invested 50,000. In after second year 64,000, after third year 80,000. If the annually compounded interest rate was 8%, how much will they get back if they redeem everything at the end of year 5? Okay. So there are 3 questions in this. In such type of questions, it is always good to draw a timeline in short. Okay. So in year 0, they are investing 50,000. Okay, 9th question I'll explain again. Yes, after this is done. At 2 years, they are investing 64,000. At 3 years, they are investing 80,000. We want everything at the end of 5 years, right? How do we do it? We'll compound this by how many years? 5 years, because we are going to take from 0 to 5. So we'll just do 50,000 into what is rate? 1.08 raised to 5. Then for second year, what will we do? We'll compound this by 3 years, because from second year we have to go to 5th year. So 3, 4, 5, right? So we'll do 64,000 into 1.08 raised to 3. And what will we do for this 80,000? We'll take that 80,000 and we'll compound it by 2 years, because we'll take it to year 5. If we just add all of this, we'll get our answer. Let's see. Okay, do it entirely on calculator. 1.08 raised to 5. How will you do that? 1.08 into 4 times equal to into 50,000 and then m plus. Next, 1.08 into and 2 times equal to multiplied by 64,000 m plus. Again 1.08 into and 1 time equal to into 80,000 m plus. If you press MRC, you should get your answer as 247,399.9 something, 400. This will be the correct answer, option D. Let me know if you have understood. Okay. इसको doubt तो बोलो, D is correct. Good. 9th I'll explain once again quickly. So in depreciation, so in compound interest, what do we do? Principal is the initial value, right? Amount is the value at the end. So in depreciation, do the same thing. Principal is initial cost into 1 plus I raised to n. Will give you n is 8 years. Will give you amount at the end, which is salvage value 1.5 lakhs. So when we solved this, okay, so 1 plus I raised to 8 was 0.1. So that means 1 plus I was 0.1 raised to 1 by 8. How do we calculate 0.1 raised to 1 by 8? 0.1 raised to half into half into half. That means 3 times square root. So we got 1 plus I as this. That means I will be what? Negative 0.2501. Negative, because depreciation is going to be like negative interest, right? So we can call it as depreciation rate as 25.01%. Then if we want WDV after 4 years, we'll just do this. We'll take initial amount 15 lakhs on your calculator. Just do minus this percent, minus this, minus this, minus this 4 times. 15 lakhs minus 25.01%, minus 25.01%, minus 25.01%, 4 times. That will give you the answer as this. What was the answer? I don't remember. I guess it was this B, right? Okay. So I hope everyone has understood. Yeah, on calculator it is coming something different because we are not rounding off there. We are rounding off there. So rounding off difference is fine because we are taking 25.01. It is not exactly 25.01, right? I hope everyone has understood. If you have any doubts, let me know. If you had a question, I guess, so ask me that on the Telegram, uh, either group or to me personally. I'll answer it. Okay, because on chat, I don't think you'll be able to send your question. So I'll answer it separately on Telegram. If required, we can take it in tomorrow's live lecture. Okay, fine. So we'll meet tomorrow for annuity, most important part of this chapter. We'll see relationship between all 4 annuity questions. We'll see how to interpret word problems, which type to use when. Okay, fine. So let's stop for today. Bye everyone and good night. See you tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Bye everyone. Good night. Yes, same time. Okay, good night. Good night.